Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am recording from sunny Portugal, although I hear the UK is actually as sunny as Portugal at the moment, but I'm here for the sunshine either way. This week I'm going to be talking about my fitness goals. As you guys may know, I've basically been doing competition after competition since November last year, and I have nothing planned in terms of competitions for the rest of time itself. So I'm hopefully going to be talking to you guys a little bit about what I aim for in fitness and what my plans are for the future in terms of like whether I'm going to be doing more boxing matches, when I'm going to be doing more races, how long the races will be, and all that kind of stuff. Today's video is kindly sponsored by Freeletics, which is a fitness training app, and what it is essentially a personal trainer in your pocket. Now I have brought it out here obviously on my phone, which is ideal actually for a holiday where you don't have access to a gym. You sign up and you put in your sort of your age and your fitness level, like how much training you do usually, how often you want to train, what your goals are, so whether that's strength building, fat loss, endurance. It creates this training plan for you that you can follow for say 12 weeks, and you don't even need a gym, you don't even need equipment, and you can just do it from your living room or on holiday. And actually it's ideal for me this summer because I'm away so much from my usual routine, so it will be really nice to be able to give it a go, especially out here by the pool. Like, what better place to do it? But if you don't have access to a pool, that's fine, you can just do it in your living room, and that is just as good. Go and check them out. I will link all the information below. Okay, so I'm just out on a hike and I thought I'd multitask a little bit and let you guys know what my fitness goals are for now and in the future, and whether or not I have any actual sort of comps coming up or any plans for any competitions or what. I'm gonna start with like going backwards a little bit. So I was absolutely not at all sporty when I was younger. I wasn't interested in, I was active, but I wasn't interested in any sports, and I was also terrible, absolutely terrible. I was always the last one chosen for any sort of team sports or anything like that, because I just cannot play. I still can't play team sports really. That was kind of me when I was younger. and I only really started getting into sports when I found a sport that wasn't a team sport that I could actually play, and that was squash. And that got me a little bit addicted to the competition of sports and activities and that sort of stuff. I have continued it since then, sort of on and off, and that was maybe when I was like 17, 7 years ago or so. For that I had to train like an athlete. You know, there's no point going to the gym here and there and just expecting to be able to be fit enough to play squash. Squash is one of the most intense sports you could choose, especially as like an intro to sport. I actually had to treat my body like an athlete's body and eat properly, train properly, and that was actually really helpful and like healthy for me as well to do. I didn't get obsessed with like going to the gym and doing X, Y, and Z exercises for a particular aesthetic goal. It was more like I was going to the gym to get strong so that I could hit the ball harder, or become better at endurance so that I could play for 5 sets rather than 3, or whatever it is. That attitude I've tried to continue along. So in terms of fitness goals or like sports goals or whatever, my goal, my ultimate goal, is to be able to do a 5k in under 20 minutes. But in the meantime, under 21 minutes will do. My current 5k time is 21 minutes and 18 seconds, and that was for a park run during my marathon training, and I ran back home again after that as well. So I reckon I could still do it faster, but maybe need a little bit of practice first. And then on the running front, I also want to be able to do a 10k in less than 45 minutes. I'm currently on 45 minutes and 14 seconds, which is not bad, not that far off. So again, I reckon I can do that. Oh my god. Let's just stop and admire the view a little bit. This guy's been paddleboarding for ages. It is stunning. Running for me is not really an end goal. It's kind of a means to an end and a way of measuring how fit I am. So doing a quick 5k won't necessarily keep me happy. So in that sense, I love competing in other sports. And so now we move on to boxing. I have done 2 boxing matches now. Did one in November 2018, 17th of November, and one a couple of weeks ago in June this year. And I think I would like to do more boxing matches, but I want to move away from the white collar. Now, white collar is kind of a less organised version of boxing. It's often for charity, which is obviously amazing, but it's run by people who don't necessarily know boxing particularly well and who aren't necessarily interested in the boxing itself, more the money that comes along with it, or, you know, the socialness of a boxing fight. And for me, I would like to be able to do amateur boxing, which is, there's a lot less like fanfare around it, but it's a lot more focused on the boxing rather than the, you know, the dinner party or the drinks that come along with it. It's much more there for the sport, and that's what I kind of love about boxing. You know, the best boxing gyms are the grimiest boxing gyms, and it's not supposed to be a flashy sport really. So I'm going to start looking into more amateur boxing and see if I can try my hand at that. Having said that, I do not really want to spend my life getting kind of concussed or hit in the nose and breaking my nose and like all that kind of stuff. So maybe boxing isn't really for me, but until I get proven that I can't do it, I think I really want to give that a go. A lot of you guys have also asked if I want to run another marathon or any other long distance races, and in terms of marathon, no, not really. I'm not particularly interested in going through that training again, partly because it injured me and partly because it stopped me from doing all the other stuff I love as well, in terms of training. So I was unable to do my boxing towards the end because it just would have meant overtraining. I was unable to work on having a fast 5k because my goal was actually to run slower, not faster. It just didn't allow me to do everything else I want, and I also don't see the marathon as the be all and end all of fitness. I don't think if you run a marathon it means you're fit, and I also, I mean, like in like all round fit. Obviously if you run a marathon you're pretty badass, but like I don't think it means that you're generally incredibly fit, and a lot of people just stop running afterwards as well. I think being able to consistently run or consistently compete in other sports throughout your life is actually much harder and much more impressive. Having said that, I recently did a discussion with Columbia, the sportswear brand, the kind of outdoor brand. They had another person on the panel who does adventure racing, which is like a multidisciplinary endurance race, and it involves, I'm just going to stop here because I'm like on the edge of a cliff, it involves several days of orienteering in the middle of nowhere, trying to get from A to B, and you might have to canoe places, you might have to run for a full day, you might have to kayak or cycle, just anything to get from A to B, and you've got to orienteer your whole way through it. So that involves obviously a lot of different skills, and it sounds a lot more interesting than just running a set distance, and it also involves trails, and I love trail running. I'm not particularly good at it per se, but I just really enjoy the views and being able to explore new places, and also the feeling of being on top of the world, like I feel like now because of this view. That's pretty cool, pretty special. So yeah, in terms of longer distance races, if I did do some more, they would definitely be on the trail running side of things, and maybe multidisciplinary as well. We've been through the sort of sports and running, but we haven't spoken about my general training. Obviously that's not necessarily a competitive thing, but in order to be able to do more boxing or do more trail running, which is obviously quite difficult on the legs, especially the downhill runs and stabilizing your ankles and all that kind of stuff, will involve some sort of gym workouts. So for me, I want to be focusing on stability, so continuing my physio work that I was given post-marathon, and also build up my strength again. I lost a lot of muscle during the marathon, which I still haven't quite built back up yet, but we're getting there for sure. So yeah, I'd like to build up a little bit more strength, and that will involve a lot of gym workouts. So when I get back to the UK for like an extended period of time, I'm going to be focusing on getting back to boxing, smashing out some quick runs of like 5 to 10k distance, and checking out amateur boxing and how to get into that, and of course going back to the gym and doing this sort of functional training side of the kind of gym workouts, and of course doing my physio that my lovely physio has given me to do probably for the rest of my life, just because of being super duper injury prone. So I hope you found that interesting and maybe a little bit insightful into kind of how I plan my year, or 6 months of training. Obviously training takes a while to come into effect, so there's no point doing it for just 2 weeks and then hoping for the best that you can like smash out a sub 25k. Some people can do that, but they're really annoying. So yeah, so I'm gonna give that a go as soon as I get back to the UK, get back to the gym. I'm really excited actually to be having a bit of a break from competing, at least for the moment, in order to focus on strength and conditioning in all its many forms. That is it. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.